Recently, I've been getting emails and comments asking about the best cities to move to in the different regions of the US. The videos I did about different regions back a couple weeks ago, I'm sure sparked the interest. So since there's an interest in this, here we are. I looked at different stats and sort of made an educated guess on what I feel are the best cities to move to in the West. We didn't pick like one stat like crime rate or poverty rate. We just kind of gathered everything and figured out what are the best places to move to in these regions in 2024. Today we're looking at the western half of the United States. Now I'm sure a lot of you won't agree with some of the cities on this list. Normally it's because cities have reputations, sometimes from years ago. Compton, California is a perfect example. Back in the late 80s and 90s, Compton was a freaking war zone. These days it still sucks, but nothing like it did back in the day. I grew up not too far from there. In the 1990s, I wouldn't have even gone there for any reason whatsoever, much less live there. I still wouldn't live there, but if I, let's say, got a decent job in Compton, I'd probably take the job. In this video, we'll include some stats and of course real estate prices because that's what a lot of you are here for. I'm also going to include some of the best neighborhoods and suburbs to live in each one of these metro areas. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is in Colorado in case that first word didn't tip you off. If you're looking for it on a map, you will find it between Denver and Pueblo. Like every city in Colorado, this place is all about outdoor activities. Skiing, hiking, biking, rock climbing, whatever you want to do. It's also really close to Pikes Peak, which basically towers over the city. And if you have friends that are afraid of heights, this is a good place to take them for a drive. Watch them hold on to the handle and the dashboard of your car. To the average person that's not afraid of heights, it's really not that big of a deal. It's a nice scenic drive. So why is it on this list? Well, there's a number of reasons. First of all, if you want a job, Colorado Springs is a good place to go. You like outdoors? Obviously, Colorado Springs is a good place to live. Colorado Springs' economy relies on several key sectors, including military, defense, aerospace, software, IT, and tourism. The largest employer in the region is the United States military, and Colorado Springs hosts 5 military installations: Fort Carson, Peterson Air Force Base, Schriever Air Force Base, and the North American Air Defense Command, or NORAD. It has one other one, which is the United States Air Force Academy. Now, none of these are right in town, so don't correct me. They're in the area. And actually, no military installation is in town. They usually have their own zip code, and they are their own entity. This is also home to the U.S. Olympic Training Center, and most people consider this a more affordable and nicer alternative to living in Denver. Been here many times. It's a beautiful city. Colorado Springs really doesn't have a bad problem with crime. It's actually fairly safe, and that of course is compared to other cities their size, not perfection. One of the best areas to live in the Colorado Springs area is a community called Briargate. This is a neighborhood on the north side of Colorado Springs. All the stats here are really, really good except for cost of living. It's pretty expensive here. That's usually the trade-off. When all your stats are great, it's going to be expensive. But if you want to live here, according to Zillow, the average Colorado Springs home value is about $440,000. That was at the end of 2023, and that's down 0.8% over the last year. Number 9, Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado is one of those places I've always wanted to move to. Like Colorado Springs, this is a great place if you like the outdoors. I mean, it's not too far away, so obviously you're going to have the same type of amenities. Hiking, mountain biking, rock climbing, skiing, it's all there for you. They also have a great beer scene, a lot of really good food, good people. They do have a little bit of crime. I shouldn't say a little bit. They got a good amount of crime. Denver's largest employer is the U.S. government. Other major employers in Denver include the state of Colorado, the University of Colorado System, Centra Health, Denver Public Schools, the city and county of Denver, and of course, Health One Corporation. Healthcare is a big thing these days for anyone that's looking for a job. If you don't know what to do with the rest of your life, I would suggest healthcare. Probably one of the best neighborhoods, at least in my opinion, to move to in the Denver area is up by Boulder. It's a place called Lafayette. Lafayette has pretty good stats all around. They've got a little crime, nothing to even be concerned about, but their cost of living is kind of up there. If you want to buy a home in the Denver metro area, the average home value at the end of 2023 was $548,000. That's down 0.9% over the last year. Number 8, Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City is a sleeper when it comes to its beauty. Not a lot of people think of it as a really beautiful city. I've flown in there several times over the last couple years. I've visited a couple times. It's a very clean city, and it's for the most part surrounded by mountains. Downside about those mountains, it can get brutally cold. I just flew out of there going to Galveston last week. Had to get the whole de-icing process to take off. This is where you will find the Great Salt Lake, and you also find the headquarters for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Again, Salt Lake City, just like Denver and Colorado Springs, is a really great place to live if you like to be outdoors. Salt Lake City has a really strong economy. Once you get past the schools and the state government and federal government jobs, you've got a lot of really good companies. Super Value Incorporated, Intermountain Healthcare, Wealth Generators, Smith Food and Drugs. They got a lot of really good companies here. One of the best places to live in the Salt Lake City area is on the north side of the city. It's called Kaysville. It's a town of about 32,000 people, and I don't think it's going to be that low much longer. This is a growing city. A lot of new construction going up, and it's really nice. It's in the Wasatch region. All the stats are great, except for they don't have a lot of things up there. You know, they don't have a lot of supermarkets. They have enough. If you're going to look for some entertainment and things like that, you're going to go into Salt Lake City most of the time. This is just a really nice suburb. But if you want to buy a home in the Salt Lake City area, the typical home value here is about $528,000. That's down 0.7% over the last year. Number 7, Reno, Nevada. Reno, Nevada is located in the great state of Nevada on the northern side. Well, really it's on the western, kind of the middle of the state, but you really only have two places. You have the Las Vegas metro area, and then you have Reno. One's on the north side of the state, one's on the south side of the state. That's how I look at it. It is right by the California border, near Lake Tahoe and Truckee, California. Reno, like every place in Nevada, has gambling. In my opinion, I think as you get a little bit older, Reno might be more appealing to you. It's a little slower pace, not as wild. At least that's how I see it. After tourism and gaming, you know, the casinos and all that, they've got a few other industries that hire a lot of people. Got like the Peppermill Human Resources, they've got insurance agencies, business services are big here, and of course a lot of government jobs. But a majority of everyone here works for or in some kind of supportive business to the casinos. If I was going to pick the best place to live in Reno, probably would be Reno. Statistically, it's the best place. Some people might say Sparks, which is right there too. You know, it's really hard to say. Reno does have a little bit of crime, nothing terribly dangerous like Detroit or St. Louis, but it is there. All the other stats are pretty good. It's affordable, they have decent schools, people are employed, not a terrible amount of poverty. It's not perfect, but I think it's a great place to live. If you want to move to Reno and buy some property, the average home value in Reno is $522,000. That's down 0.6% over the last year. Number 6, Los Angeles, California. I'm sure a lot of you just gulped, because if you watch the news too much, they make all of Los Angeles sound pretty bad. There are some really ugly neighborhoods. I'm not trying to say there aren't. There's Skid Row in Los Angeles, which has more homeless people than any state should ever have, and it's just a neighborhood. Los Angeles is famous for its warm weather and beautiful beaches. Many famous people, like actors and musicians, live in Los Angeles. Lived there most of my life. I would say that there wasn't a month that didn't go by that I didn't see someone famous. Do they hang out at the local Starbucks? Do you just drive around and see them doing normal things? No, you rarely do. But if you work in places like Beverly Hills, like I did for a long time, and then, near the Sunset Strip, you see a lot of them. If you really want to see a lot of celebrities, you probably want to move down to the South Bay, which I think is one of the best places to live. These are cities like Torrance, Redondo, Hermosa, and Manhattan. Manhattan being the most wealthy neighborhood in that whole area, and it's south of Los Angeles International Airport. You find a lot of stars, Lakers, and, the Los Angeles Kings. They all have homes there. Los Angeles has plenty of jobs and plenty of opportunity, and that's why it goes on this list. I mean, weather, jobs, opportunity, it is expensive, but the jobs are normally well-paying jobs in Los Angeles, so it sort of evens out. You won't think that when I tell you how much a house costs here on average. But there's so much to do in Los Angeles, really, you'll never be bored. You might be broke, but you won't be bored. There are plenty of things to do there that are a good time, that are free. If you want to move to Los Angeles and let's say buy a home, the average home value in Los Angeles at the end of 2023 was $918,000. And I honestly think they're really lowballing that. That number's up 3.5% over the last year. Number 5, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm starting to get the feeling that Albuquerque is starting kind of like a rebirth process. It's coming back around. Albuquerque is known for its beautiful desert landscapes, warm, sunny weather. The city is home to many cultural attractions, including museums, art galleries, and historic sites. They're also famous for this thing that I haven't been able to see yet, and I want to, but it's their annual hot air balloon festival. They've got all these colorful balloons, the ones that people ride in, that fill the sky, making it a popular destination for tourists, photographers, and locals. Now, some of the good things about living in Albuquerque is they have a lower cost of living and opportunities in technology, healthcare, and research. According to Visit Albuquerque, Albuquerque's largest employers are Albuquerque Public School System, the University of New Mexico, the City of Albuquerque, Presbyterian Hospital, Sunbridge Health Corps, Lovelace Health Systems, and New Mexico State Government. If you want to buy a home in Albuquerque, New Mexico, it's not terrible. Their average home value is $316,000. Now, it did go up last year a good amount, 6.2%. Number 4, Tucson, Arizona. Tucson is known for its hot, sunny weather and lots of days of sunshine throughout the year. You will not miss out on vitamin D if you live in Tucson. You might get skin cancer, but at least your vitamin D levels will be through the roof. Now, I'm not a big heat guy, but there's a lot of hiking, a lot of mountain biking in the Tucson area. I wouldn't be doing any of that. I'd be melting. My people are from Norway and Ireland. I was just down in Belize, Honduras, and Mexico, and in almost every single picture, I am sweating like I'm being interrogated by the KGB. Tucson is filled with retirees and college students. Now, some of the biggest employers in the Tucson area are Raytheon Missile Systems, the University of Arizona, Davis Mountain Air Force Base, the state of Arizona, and Walmart stores. Those aren't the best jobs, but they're there for you if you need one. At least the Walmart jobs. All the other ones are pretty solid jobs. Now, if you wanted to live in the Tucson area, my first choice would be Oro Valley. Now, it's not the best, but it's the only one that has a legit number of people. There's another area called Poet Square, Arizona. It's a neighborhood. They've only got 1,000 people, but their livability score is 80. If you look at Oro Valley, that's 78, so it's not bad. They've got about 45,000 people. If you want to buy a home in Tucson, Arizona, you're going to be shelling out about $322,000 for the average home. That's up 1.2% over the last year. Now, there's one thing about Tucson. I think it's a little, I wouldn't say deceiving, but it'll surprise a lot of people. Some of their homes get pretty darn expensive, but they have plenty of, let's say, affordable ones too. Number 3, San Antonio, Texas. I love San Antonio, even though it's really hot sometimes. I think it's a beautiful city. This is where you'll find the Alamo and a whole bunch of really nice Tex-Mex restaurants. If you know about the history of Texas, you'll understand that San Antonio is sort of where they picked up their sense of independence. Also where, I guess you could say, they gained their independence from Mexico. If it wasn't for the Alamo and the arrogance of a Mexican general, Texas still might be part of Mexico. And it all started in San Antonio. Probably the best place to live in the San Antonio metro area is a place called Leon Valley. It's a city. It has over 12,000 residents, and they get really good stats. Their actual livability score is 81, which, if you know about livability scores, that's outstanding. Just to give you an idea, anything over 65 is okay. Once you start getting into the 75s, it's pretty good. And if you're knocking it out of the park with an 81, you're doing really good. If you want to move to San Antonio and call a realtor, you should expect to dish out about $251,000. That's the average home value. They do go up from there. Some of the biggest employers here would be in tourism and hospitality. You also got a lot of government jobs, including the university system and healthcare. If you want to call a realtor or a real estate agent, yes, there's a difference. The average home value in San Antonio at the end of 2023 was $251,000, and that's down 2.8% over the last year. Number 2, Boise, Idaho. Boise is one of those places everyone's been moving to. We've talked about it on this channel many, many times. We've also talked about how you should probably change your license plate before you go there if you're heading up from California. If you are moving up there from California and somebody asks where you moved from, you're probably better off just telling them you were just released from Guantanamo Bay. They'll like you a little bit more than if you say Los Angeles or San Francisco. I mean, other than that, this is a really nice place to live. It's got the Rocky Mountains, the Boise River, a great downtown, plenty of shops, restaurants, and cultural attractions, as they say. It's also home to Boise State University. Boise has a low cost of living, tons of outdoor activities, and a booming tech industry. And that's what's bringing in a lot of the newcomers. It's not just the people moving to Boise, it's a lot of the companies from California have decided to set up shop there. I always read about smaller tech firms moving up to Boise in that area. I was poking around and none of the really big ones jumped out at me like you'll find in Texas, where, Plano, all these major companies like Toyota's headquarters for North America moved to Plano from Los Angeles. There's been a few others, but it just seems to be a whole bunch of small tech companies that have moved to Boise. One of the best places to live in the Boise area, the metro area, I would say is Meridian. Meridian has some really good stats. Their livability score is 83. They've got over 100,000 residents, so it's a good-sized city. And it's a suburb of the whole metro area. Some of the biggest employers in the metro area here are Hewlett-Packard, Blue Cross of Idaho, Albertsons Incorporated, Wells Fargo, Idaho Power, and Citicorp. Boise's cost of living is kind of low compared to other attractive cities. The average home value in Boise, Idaho is $459,000. That's down 1% over the last year. That's pretty close to what the national average is right now. All right, before we get to number one, if you're looking to move to another city, anywhere in the United States, not just these ones, there's a link for Home and Money in the description area below. They can get you in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. All right, on to number one. And number one, San Diego, California. Yes, San Diego is expensive. Yes, San Diego is pretty close to perfect by California standards. What I mean by that, if you look at the other major cities and metro areas in California, San Diego outshines them all. I mean, they do have crime, they do have homelessness, but not nearly as much as San Francisco and Los Angeles. San Diego is considered to have the best weather in the United States. They've got a lot of jobs there, from tourism to the military. The military has a very big presence in San Diego. When you're looking for the best place to live in the San Diego area, there's a lot of choices. If you want to go downtown, there's a nice neighborhood called the Gaslamp Quarter. Great stats. It's downtown. That brings its own kind of problems. A lot of people like La Mesa. I like La Jolla. You gotta have some money to live in La Jolla though. It's very expensive. If you do move to San Diego and you want to buy a home, before you call that real estate agent, you should know that the average home value in San Diego is about $960,000. And it went up 7.1% over the last year. San Diego is expensive, but if you got the money, there's not a lot of places that could beat it if you want to be by the beach. As far as major cities go, I'm sure there's some beautiful little town you have in mind that's on the coast. That's a great place to live. As far as major cities go, this is one of the best coastal cities in the United States. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.